What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Heroes for Sale podcast. My name is Adam. I am your host. So on today's episode, there's a combination of a couple topics that I have been looking at and seeing on Twitter. First of all, it is interesting to see that I'm not sure what exactly happened, and I'm wondering if there's going to be a second cycle of the Topps 2020 project where, like, the first set of cards weren't very popular, and then they grew in popularity, and then when they grew in popularity, people didn't like them as much because they couldn't make as much money, so then the numbers went down a little bit, and I'm wondering if they're going to go back up. But either way, that is kind of the point. But so the question that I put on Twitter, because like I said on yesterday's podcast, I was interested to see if there was ever opportunities where people could have made money on cards and they didn't sell, and then they lost some of the profit. Now, I think the one thing that I have, basically the only opportunity that I saw when I put out this question was people talking about the 2020 project. So I think if I am putting out these questions, I need to start putting maybe a disclaimer, like I'm not including Topps 2020 projects in this at all, because like that seems to be anytime someone talks about like losing money or cards going down, it's the Topps 2020 project. And I mean, from my perspective, I do want to, in my head, I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, if a card is $15 and you can buy it direct from Topps, it's common sense to me that card then, realistically, if it's going to be worth $120 or $500 or $600, however much the cards went up to, that just doesn't, it's not, that can't keep happening. That's like, it's very similar to when Panini first came out with, I think I've used this example in the past, when they first came out with the Panini Draft Contenders, which had the first Zion autographs in it. People were angry at Panini because they couldn't get through to the website because they just were selling the boxes. And it's like, if you, and the main thing, I forget, I think I was listening to Mojo Breaks or one of the other sports card podcasts I was listening to. It's like, if you had the opportunity to make double your money and all you literally had to do was buy the thing, like, it's just too easy. And maybe the cards going up and then going down is kind of a reality check for maybe a lot of people who didn't realize that, like, that's not usually how things go in the card industry. Like, you can't just buy something for $15 and then sell it for $250. Like, granted, that was an opportunity that happened, but now we are seeing some like returns and stuff like that. I don't know. I think eBay needs to figure out a way to fix that. First of all, like, I think I'm not sure what other industries are run like the way the sports card industry is with eBay. I don't think there are any other industries that I can think of. Like, there's flipping and stuff like that, and they're selling on eBay. But like and I understand with this in sports cards, there's other places now, like my sponsor, Star Stock. You can go there and you can buy and sell cards. And there's other websites where you can do that. But like eBay has, I don't know, I would say 90%, 95% of the market share. So like I don't know if eBay they need to figure out a way to fix that, because like you can't, like, if a stock, like, it should be similar to like stocks. Like, you can't just return a stock. Like, you can't buy a stock and then if it goes down, you can just return it. Like, you shouldn't be allowed to do that, because then that creates bad habits within the hobby, which could then down the road lead to similar things happening with other cards that it shouldn't happen. So, you know, I need to put a disclaimer that the Topps 2020 project is not going to be included in any of these questions that I have, because in my head, for me, it was common when all the way this has played out is exactly how I expected it to play out. Like, the first few cards were popular, or it played out eventually once the popularity of the cards grew. This is sort of how I expected everything to play out. Now, I didn't expect the first few cards to be worth like $1,000, $500, whatever the pricing of those cards ended up being. But in the long run of those cards specifically, I saw the artwork of the cards themselves is kind of is what I liked about it, and I think what brought people in, because like for these artists that are making the cards, like you can't buy a piece of that person's art for $15. And yes, there in some of them, in the Keith Shore's Griffey case, there was almost 100,000 cards that were made, that were ordered. But like for the most part, you can't. There aren't pieces of art of these artists that you can buy for $15. And like for some of them, you can't even buy any of their art. Like I think for like an artist like Tyson Beck, he does exclusively, I'm not sure if he sells any art piece. I think he works exclusively with like teams and leagues and stuff like that. So like for him, and like for Ben Baller, it's like you can't really buy Ben Baller art because he's like he makes jewelry. So like the jewelry that he makes isn't going to be $15. So like that's one thing that like I was a little bit skeptical when I saw these prices continue to go up. So I don't know. I'm going to be putting disclaimers in these sooner rather than later, that like if I have these questions, I'm not including Topps 2020 Project, because like for whatever reason, people complained about it when the cards first came out because they didn't like the cards. They complained about them because the cards became too expensive, and now they're complaining about the cards because they didn't sell when they could have. So it's like no one is ever going to be happy with this product. So I like the product, and that's the thing. Like this is, it's not that I'm done talking about it, but I'm not interested in people complaining about the product anymore, because now there's issues with shipping, and it's like, what do we expect here? Like, what is going on? Like, what do you expect? Like, it's just that I don't know, whatever. So that's, I guess because now I'm complaining about people complaining about it, whatever. So the second part of the piece that I wanted to talk about today was the first Tom Brady card in a Bucs uniform is going to be coming in Luminance, which is a football product, which I like the design because it has like a darker style that's like almost, it feels like it's a lot different than what a regular sports card would be. So that's one reason why I do like the overall design. It is going to still have college players in there, so you're not getting like the first Joe Burrow card or the first of anybody. I think the first cards of players are in Origins, which I'm not on. I forget when that comes out. I think it comes out in August. Now, the other piece of this is the NFL even going to be starting when it should? Like from listening to Boston Sports Radio, which is Sports Hub is like that's the Celtics, Bruins, Patriots network. So like they talk to the players pretty often, and Jason McCourty and Devin McCourty are brothers, and they have a podcast, and they said that they have not been told when they're going to be reporting, which they're supposed to be reporting for like mini camps and I think training camps and preseason stuff like at the end of July, which if they haven't been told that they're going to be reporting then, like that, it seems like that's probably not going to happen. I don't know when preseason or all that is actually even going to happen. Like they may not play any games this year. And the season, I don't know. The NFL is going to be weird because there's 52 players on the roster. Like it just feels like it's going to be a lot harder to, in the way that the game is played, like, and they're also not, I don't know. The NFL is, I don't know what they're going to do, but so the first Brady card is coming in Luminance, and it is very strange to see Brady in like that Bucs uniform, and I do wonder for Brady if him in that Bucs uniform is going to have a similar effect to either Prism. Like, are we going to see a similar effect to Brady in a different uniform that we saw LeBron? And I forget if I've talked about this in the past. I mean, obviously the fan bases are much different. Like the Lakers versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is like, I don't even really think there is a, you can't even really compare the two, to be honest. So like, I don't think the fan base aspect of the card itself is going to be what could be the price for that. I mean, Brady, his rookie has gone up, like shot up, the Bowman Chrome rookie. So there's that. I don't know. I just think that maybe this first card is going to be one, but I feel like almost the Prism would be more desirable, I guess. I don't know. We'll see throughout this whole year, like, if any of these Brady cards even really take off. Like, I think best case scenario for the Patriots and for Brady is if Brady wins one more championship and then Belichick wins one more championship. So, like, I don't know if the Bucs are contenders. Like, I know obviously having Brady and having Mike Evans and having Gronk those are huge pieces, and those are probably three of the best combination of players in the league. And we'll see. I mean, Gronk's been off for a while. Mike Evans is one of the better receivers, so like that could be good for the team. I mean, we'll see with Brady with the Bucs what happens. But overall, from a Patriots fan standpoint, I would say the best case scenario is if Brady wins a championship with the Bucs and then Belichick wins a championship at some point in the next few years, because then at least we can. Because the conversation in New England is always who is more important, Brady or Belichick. And I think if they both win a championship, then we can say that they were both important in the legacy of this dynasty that we've been running for the past 20 years. And for Brady cards, like, I do wonder if we're going to see his market be like a Jordan market or like a LeBron market, and maybe it just hasn't picked up because at this point, there's no denying that he's the best quarterback of all time. Maybe, I don't know, best player you could maybe say, depending, because quarterback's the most important position, so I don't know if you're categorizing it that way, but best overall kind of team player. So like and football obviously is much different than basketball. So is the football market going to be like, obviously we've seen the 2012 Brady's go up, but like, is this first Brady Bucks card is it going to be like the LeBron card? I don't think so, because of the fan bases, but seeing Brady in that Bucks uniform it's very strange, and I don't necessarily like it that much, but obviously, there's nothing I can really do about that. I'm just a fan of the team, so that's basically all I've got for this episode today. So I want to thank everyone for listening to the episode. Go follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and then YouTube. We put our new YouTube video up. It's which cards to buy for baseball. Go watch that and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That is all I've got for this episode. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.